Hi everyone, welcome to P for Physics, another session, and it's me, Joe. We have devoted the entire previous session on Coulomb's law. When we talk about the interaction between two point charges, naturally we find an answer in Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law helps us a lot to find the value of the force, the electrostatic force to be more precise, between 2 point charges. If ever we assume that the 2 point charges are meeting at a place, depending on the type of charges, we may be able to say what kind of force will act between them. It's either going to be an attractive force or it's going to be a repulsive force. We know for sure. That knowledge comes even with a classification of the types of charges itself. But when we want to quantify the value of force, the electrostatic force, like I said, between the 2 point charges, naturally we lean on Coulomb's law. So Coulomb's law helps us to understand how 2 point charges interact between them. Here by the side, I have given a small scenario, a diagrammatic representation of a situation where we consider one charge, let us say it Q1, which is surrounded by other charges Q2, Q3, Q4 and Q5. There could be n number of charges as well. For simplicity, we are choosing just 4 charges around Q1. They are placed at different positions in different directions, as you can see in the diagrammatic representation. So this diagram's part Q1 and Q2 alone. That is a little familiar to us because while we were discussing about Coulomb's law, we considered 2 such charges, Q1 and Q2, placed at a distance of r. That is how we calculated the scalar form for Coulomb's law. Here, instead of referring the distance between the charges, the only difference is I am using the position vectors associated with the corresponding charges. So if I talk about Q1 and Q2, R21 cap represents the position vector between the 2 charges. So Q1 and Q2's position can be understood just by knowing the value of this unit vector R21 cap. Similarly, the position and placement of the other charges with respect to the charge Q1 can be easily found using their respective position vectors as shown in the diagram. So this is a kind of an extension of the idea that we saw in Coulomb's. So in Coulomb's law, we were talking or considering only 2 point charges, but in reality, we do understand that there can be millions and billions of charges. So just 2 point system or 2 charge system, 2 point charge system is actually a very simplified, to be precise, it is an oversimplified situation of a reality. But if we want to face the reality as such, we need more than the Coulomb's law. When we talk about more charges associated in a particular system with respect to a single charge Q1, and if we want to find the interaction between the charges, since there are more than 2 charges, we find Coulomb's law to be insufficient because Coulomb's law has its own limitations. And if we want to find or comprehend the interaction between multiple charges, what do? That is what we are going to discuss today in this session. So interaction between multiple charges can be dealt easily with the idea of superposition principle. So whenever we hear the word superposition principle, whenever we talk about principle, there has to be a condensed form of a statement associated with any principle. So if we want to give the statement of superposition principle, we might say like this: according to the superposition principle, the total force acting on a given charge is equal to the vector sum of forces exerted on it by all the other charges. Let us just associate this statement with the diagrammatic representation that we have given here. The total force acting on a given charge, Here we have chosen the given charge to be Q1 is equal to the vector sum of the forces exerted by all the other charges present in the system. So the other charges represented here are Q2, Q3, Q4 and Q5 respectively. So if we want to find what kind of force that this Q1 is going to experience because of the other charges surrounding it, superposition principle becomes so handy. And if I want to find the complete value of it, I have to break down, because it's a kind of a complex scenario other than 2-point charges that we dealt in Coulomb's law. But here, if we want to break down, we can break it down like this. Instead of considering the interaction or the force exerted by all the charges onto one single charge Q1, we can tackle it one at a time. Yes, we are going to simply apply Coulomb's law by choosing one pair at a time. So here, F12 vector might be a little familiar to us because this is what we were dealing with in Coulomb's law's vector form. So we understood that F12 vector is nothing but the representation of force exerted by the second charge onto the first charge. So here too, there is a first charge Q1 and the second charge Q2. And if I want to find the electrostatic force between these two charges, this is represented as F12 cap is equal to F12 vector, is equal to K into Q1 Q2 by R21 square and its corresponding unit vector R21 cap. Similarly, as we have found out F12 vector, it is easy for us to find the rest of the forces due to other charges as well. However, we are going to deal it one at a time. For example, if I want to find the force exerted by the third charge onto the first charge represented by F13 vector, it is easy now for me because I have to replace the necessary terms alone. So the vector form is going to remain the same because we are having the Q1 charge to be in common in both the cases. So here I have K into Q1 Q2 by R21 square. Instead of that, here we have K Q1 getting retained because they are not going to change. But instead of Q2, now we are talking about the third charge Q3. And correspondingly, as the charges are going to change, their position vector is also going to change. So the distance R21 square is replaced with R31 square. And correspondingly, the unit vector R21 cap is replaced with R31 cap. This simply means that whatever may be the number of charges that are surrounding a particular charge, we can apply Coulomb's law simply like this, one after the other, to find the total force. So if we find the total force applying the superposition principle, we might be able to say the total force on Q1 due to all other charges be given as F1 total vector is equal to F12 vector plus F13 vector plus F14 vector up to n number of charges. So here every single force can be represented by an equation that we have written like this, and the vector sum of all these individual forces would give the total force experienced by Q1. So the force here we mean actually electrostatic force. So now we understand that there is a close association between Coulomb's law and superposition principle. We have seen that Coulomb's law forms one of the most fundamental laws when it comes to electrostatics. If we want to find the interaction between any 2-point charges, we have only Coulomb's law at our hand. And interaction between multiple charges, that is when we blow up this idea into a more realistic situation, we go for superposition principle. So with these Coulomb's law and superposition principle, the idea of understanding the electrostatic force between charges becomes more complete, because Coulomb's law has its own limitation and that is overcome by understanding and applying the superposition principle. Though they are very closely related, however, we should remember that the superposition principle and Coulomb's law, however closely related together, are not derivable from each other. That is, from Coulomb's law, superposition principle cannot be obtained and vice versa. So they are very closely related and associated with each other, but they are not derivable from each other. So I wanted to make this a very short session because I don't want to club it with Coulomb's law, because that makes the previous session even a lengthier one, and this cannot be compiled with the next idea that we are going to talk about in the coming session. Therefore, this is a very short session where we talked about superposition principle. Hope you have understood that, and this is a more generalized way of looking into the reality when we talk about multiple charges in a place. So this is P for Physics and me, Joe, signing off with this very short video. So therefore, we shall discuss physics in a enjoyable way in the days to come. If you haven't subscribed this channel yet, please do it if you like. And if you like this video, please like. And if you got any comment, please share your thoughts, and we are waiting to hear from you. Thank you. It's Joe signing off. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.